Hey, welcome to Let's Read Cyberpunk 2020 Holo Men. What you see before you is a visitation of a very cyberpunky city. It is very technically complex and very interesting to live in, and we're about to visit it today in this novel. By virtue of this being what I am revolutionarily calling a let's read. I'm sure no one else has ever done that. Essentially, I'll just be reading the novel, and then as we get introduced to new characters, I'll pop up some like picture choices of what they look like. I'll pop up some options of what their voices might sound like, and you guys in chat can vote on it. So essentially, you'll be kind of creating these characters. Any cam today? I'm not sure. I don't know that it would be. Well, I guess people can get confused if they. Whoops! Hello. They show up for this, and yeah, there's nothing going on. So, right, I forgot. OBS is also potentially one of the most annoying things in the world when you're trying to resize things. All right, there we go. I'll be up here, guiding you on your journey through this novel. Love this shirt. Green screen would be perfect here. It would, but there's a whole room behind me. I'm not against a wall, so yes, Philippe. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, all right. So let's start Holo Men, I guess. It's not the Batman Forever setup. You're right, because that was a pain in the ass to move everything over there. So I'm doing this instead. I'm also closer to the mic, which should result in better audio quality. Speaking of, let me just pull this right here. There we go. Okay, let's begin. So this is the preview page. This is what's supposed to, I guess, get us invested in the world of Cyberpunk 2020. I'm here to give out completely useless tips. Yeah, I mean, there's I guess before I super get started, I do have to apologize. It is so hard to have like dealt with 20 problems in a row. The 21st one is visible to someone else, and they're like, "Oh, I know how to fix that." And you're like, so yeah. If you've ever noticed that I'm like really wound up at the beginning of any Funhouse production, it's because I just spent the entire day fixing a series of annoying problems that shouldn't have existed in the first place. And then everyone else comes in, and I'm sitting there like just trying to tie some string together, and everyone else is like, "Oh, here I know how to tie string." I'm just like, "Oh." I think I probably snapped at some people, and they may have stopped doing that entirely. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, remember that you read a book from left to right. Good to hear. I move the mic away when I read. Oh, so you don't get those plosives? There's gonna be big plosives here today. Okay, the flame for real. That's how the preview starts. They circled the cube slowly, gizmo-faced greaser and robed prophet, both probing and testing the object with penetration programs that caused sparks to fly off its burnished surface. Joey Jet was let up. Oh, another part of this Let's Read is that I'll be taking much more commentary breaks and kind of making fun of the thing. So, it's not going to be a straight read. Excuse me. Joey Jet was loading another macro when the cube suddenly twitched and threw his icon into the air. A beam of light shot out from the cube and smote Joey, smacked him, smoked him. He screamed, and Josh knew that wherever JJ's physical body sat at its term, he was shrieking in agony there, too. The cube began to rotate, its sides changing color and texture, mutating before his eyes. It grew a face. JJ's face, horribly disfigured. Then the cube squeezed itself tight around the face. Somewhere in the real world, the life was being crushed out of JJ. An unseen force pressed on his chest and his body exploded. Then the image was gone. The cube was gone. And before Joshua stood the grotesque, peeled man. Was that real? Josh asked, his heart a violent engine with a broken regulator. Is the net real? Just a preview of the exciting cyber adventures waiting for us. Yeah, this is a book. It is indeed a book. Okay, so yeah, we'll get started. Again, you guys will be weighing in on voice choices and how these characters will look, and I'll try to replace this with like the various backgrounds that they move to. It'll just be whatever Google image search can pull up. So this is our prologue visitation here. I'm going to center it up a little bit. There we go. And then, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I'll be pausing to recap the story every so often for people that join into chat, because I know it can get confusing if you just show up. But having the camera not affected by the overlay be possible. It would be possible. Pretty easy, in fact. Okay, so it begins, like all good things, with a poem from T.S. Eliot, which you probably can't read because of the video. We are the hollow men, we are the stuffed men. Our dried voices, when we whisper together, are quiet and meaningless. So, there you go. That's the thematic tease we have to look forward to. Chapter 1, Meet the Hollow Men. Joshua Victor could speak 200 languages and dream in 50. He could breakfast in Tokyo and dine in New York without jumping on a near orbiter. Hold on, does it just take forever for the next? Yeah, it does. Okay. He could walk through walls. He could sing like a bird and look like one too if the fancy struck him. He was a net runner. One of the best. A high-flying, all fortunes good and these cookies, magical numbers coming up, certified crazy edge runner. He didn't pay for his net time. He charged it to an obscure corporate account that was never audited. Same with his term. He didn't buy it. He billed it to somebody else. And it was the latest, fastest, most interactive, holographic, top-of-the-line machine on the market. In the year 2020, he was 19 years old, a 21st century wonder boy. Joshua had only one problem. He was starting to spend more time jacked in than flipped out. His landlord was getting ready to boot him out of his apartment. It's getting because it did have the apostrophe there. You know, you gotta read that the right way. Probably Pentium, maybe Pentium 2. Could even have Pentium 3. His parents were worried about him, and his teenage lover, Sally Thrower, was on the verge of splitting. Lately, Josh had noticed changes in his mental state, not attributable to the lack of sleep, sedentary lifestyle, or a crappy diet. He was growing new nodes in his brain, flickering strands of gray matter that synaptically linked him to the net in ways he didn't quite understand. He no longer had to issue logon commands. If he merely thought them, his deck sprang to life. There was more, but Sally had freaked out when he tried to tell her about it. She wanted him to see a doctor, but how was he going to pay for it? And anyway, he liked what was happening to him. He was evolving. It was exciting. The areas around the trode implants in his skull were swelling. He was becoming one with the net. He was losing touch, disappearing from the real world into the elusive land of the iconic. Sleeping on the net, dreaming on the net. That's what it did to him. Drifting in cyberspace, his alpha waves modulating his REM activity high, still jacked in. His brain was vulnerable. Where was he? Was he asleep in his room, or was he sleepwalking on the net, his coordinates changing slowly as his icon moved, oblivious to encounters with others, not interacting but still visible, protected by electronic shielding and deflection programs? Oh, this is so stupid. How dare you? How dare you? This is important lore, and you're going to need to know this in the future. I'm doing you a favor. It was annoying to come up for air after 3 or 4 days of running and find Sally flitting over him like he was the asphalt and she was a hover car. What? Alright, I don't quite get that one, but... The pizza boxes and soda cans were piling up. Cardboard and aluminum flotsam and jetsam coated everywhere in a sea of culch. The gas man shut off the heat. But they still had electricity, didn't they? The juice that drove the net. The juice that drove the net. And was all he needed. Every time he left the net, he felt lethargic, irritable, fatigued, like he was used to walking on the moon and was now dragging his ass around Earth at 6 times the weight. The real world was too slow, bub. He was turbocharged, power-spiked, redlined, undelimited. His calculator had an infinity function. That's the end of that sentence. Period. Turbocharged, power-spiked, redlined, undelimited. Undelimited! His calculator had an infinity function. I mean, most calculators do. It just goes I and F when the number gets too big. That's like, solar calculators have had that for a while. I get what they mean, but... It turns out math with infinity is actually fairly common. And not that intense, really. If I remember my calculus days. So infinity, so cyber. Yeah, right? No. It's very cool. He's very cool, I promise. Like now. He'd been jacked in for 3 days, poking into places he wasn't supposed to go, leaving little surprises for corporate jerks he'd never met, dodging the ice and running hard. And he'd flipped out, and there was Sally, looking pissed, combing her short red bangs and thrumming her fingers on the table next to his term. Of course she has red hair. Okay, so I think I have to just... This tab has to be open, so let me move this around and make sure it's, like, focused. Sometimes you got to get a little running start when you're moving windows around a desktop. So, okay, so we have dialogue between Sally and Joshua now. So it's time to decide these characters. And I do recall I skipped forward just a smidge, because, like, it's tough to decide voices for characters before you even have any idea what kind of character they are. So, I think Sally is, like, definitively Irish. Yes, okay. Here's an important character selection for Sally, which should let you know exactly how much of a character she is. Sally was a perky redhead, perky, always the word perky, with green eyes, freckled skin, and an Irish temper. Jesus, okay. Cyber Irish. So that doesn't mean she sounds Irish, but... And I apologize, because I know that there are people from Ireland in chat. But perhaps her voice could be a little bit. I'm only going to attempt these because she is an Irish stereotype exactly. So if I do a terribly offensive Irish accent, I think it's actually spiritually appropriate given that this book is tokenizing her and probably has no idea what actual Irish people sound like. And if they were to ever make a video of this, it would be an Irish stereotype. Okay, so let's oh god. All right, let's see. Maybe I should tie voices to portraits instead of doing them independently. Hold on a second. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so let's get our voting up. Let's start doing our voting here. Google image search is not letting me down so far. Good God. Okay, sure, why not? I don't know what it is about particular kinds of dudes. Wait, there you go. Ah! This is a challenge since I'm trying to do it in full screen, so... Oh god, I want to delete this. Okay, whatever. There. Just ignore the eye stock. That's not important. Don't worry about that. I guess I'm lucky that I haven't seen any just like... I imagine it's difficult to Google redhead and not see vaginas everywhere, but I've been blessed so far. There we go. The 123 RF cry for help. All right, you have before you 3 choices. Okay, let's see here. What? Why isn't invert working? It's like the one thing. Oh, whatever. Her name is Sally. Are you serious? Okay, let's see what we got here. All right. Not you. Okay, so I'll put up a vote in a second. You guys got to chill out. I did, in fact, Google Cyber Redhead, yes. Sally 1 actually has a mask on, so she'd be like, It's too much, alright. Let's see here. Which of these looks the most actually Irish? None of them. None of them, really. We'll say for argument's sake that 3 will be the offensively Irish one. Let's see here. Okay, Sally 1. She's kind of like mean, right? Cyber gothy? Alright. So here's the line. Nice of you to drop in on reality, asshole. I've been sitting here for two hours. Okay, so read by Sally 1. Let's see here. Kind of mean, little, but always feminine. Always feminine. Nice of you to drop in on reality, asshole. I've been sitting here for 2 hours. So a little breathy, but aggressive, but self-assertive. At least what a dude would think a self-assertive woman would sound like. Sally 2. Let's see. Sally 2 is an obvious stand-in. Super breathy. Doesn't really have much of a mind of her own. Because that's how she's written, I'm assuming. Nice of you to drop in on reality, asshole. I've been sitting here for 2 hours. So, she's got to sound perky. That's true. These are not very perky. This is more of a voluptuous. Okay, we'll try Sally 3. I'll try to work those notes into Sally 3 here. And again, remember, stereotype. That's where the voice is coming from. Need to sound more red. I'll try. Sally 3 is the most perky for sure, yeah. Nice of you to drop in on reality, asshole. I've been sitting here for 2 hours. Alright. That's Sally 1, 2, and 3. Let me start a vote here. Hold on a second. I will have to add the overlay real quick. All right. Seems like you guys are really feeling Sally 3, huh? I like that. It's indeed quite perky. I didn't intend for that to be the case. You basically rigged it with that voice? I guess I kind of did, yeah. How is invert not working? Hold on a second. It's so silly. Can you not invert text? Whatever. I swear to God you could. No? Okay. Uh-oh. Looks like Sally 3's won it. Alright. Fair enough. You are no longer Sally 3. You are just Sally. Okay. And we have one other character to decide at this moment. So... let's get them out of here. Alright. Now, here's the big issue. Actually... we know that we're in a disheveled apartment, so let's see here. We gotta change the background here. There's a lot of good options here. Okay, I think I'll just go with this one because it's right here. Well, there's boobs. Kids don't look. Kids don't look. Kids, no looking. Don't look. Don't look. Here. Let's do the. There we go. Let's do the feminist thing. Protect the children. All right, now we're in our cyber apartment. Sally has just woken up Joshua with her line, "Nice of you to drop in on reality, arsehole. I've been sitting here for 2 hours." And then Joshua replies, "Well, then you're lucky, because I've been jacked in for 72. Now, Joshua, by his description, is probably supposed to be out of shape, pale, not well socially adjusted, but we all know that's not the case at all, don't we? He's a net runner, so let's look up some photos of net runners. I guess we have his description. He's a hot shot. Everything's coming up his way. Everything's great. So let me. Interestingly, a lot of the imagery is like dominated by the game, which I'm trying to stay away from actually. All right, this is pretty good. All right, so. Stupid. I gotta. Okay, if he's our hero though, I'm gonna have to find some really dumbass photos. I think these are actually from the Shadowrun, I think. Yeah, maybe Shadowrun Returns. We'll go with 4 this time. not a V. All right. So let's see here. Oops, man, I do that all the time. I'll like be bouncing my leg when I click, and then it just makes a box instead of a element. All right. Where there, Jesus, how much padding do you need? This font sucks. The more I use this font, the more I'm like, oh, this is a terrible idea. But it's called Hacker, so you know, what? I have no choice, really. Okay. Ugh. Alright. Good old black text. No. When you realize a second too late, you're not on the right tool, and then you hit Control R instead of Control T. Alright. Okay. Okay, so again, Josh 3 is way too cool. You'll have the chance to vote, alright? Josh 1, I'm gonna go like typical male default, but what I always read as male default is like kind of breathy, slightly Southern California. They didn't really say where they are, so I don't know about dialects, but not that I would be able to execute even if I did. But yeah, the Nolan North kind of hero. So let's see here. Well, then you're lucky because I've been jacked in for 72. That's Josh 1. Confidence. Confidence and playfulness, I would say, are kind of the like all the hallmarks of a stereotypical male protagonist. Josh 2, maybe a little bit less socially adjusted. You can see more of the paleness there. Maybe some condescension in his voice. So wrapping in maybe a little more character flaw. Maybe a little bit of defensiveness in his line. Well then, you're lucky because I've been jacked in for 72. Like a little bit of annoyance at the woman that is doting on him. So that's Josh 2. Josh 3 is, yeah, way too cool. Down to brass tacks, fighting corpos. Has a hollow lady behind him. Amazed and disgusted at his hacking ability. I don't know. Let's see here. Cool, confident, unconcerned. Well then, you're lucky, because I've been jacked in for 72. That's how I read Josh 3. It's kind of curt, to the point. Josh 3 is cheating on Sally 3 with his AI. And then Josh 4, the stereotypical beats I read here are like kind of brooding, mysterious, hyper-intelligent. Well then, you're lucky, because I've been jacked in for 72. No, that's a little too much. That's like, that's like Twilight Zone host read. Let me think about this. Well then, you're lucky, because I've been jacked in for 72. Something like a little more hedonistic, like Lord Byron sipping on tea and doing heroin kind of voice. That's kind of what I get. So let me see if I can remember those. Josh 1, pretty straightforward. Well then, you're lucky, because I've been jacked in for 72. Josh 2, a little condescending, a little defensive. Well then, you're lucky, because I've been jacked in for 72. Josh 3, straightforward. Straightforward to the point. Well then, you're lucky, because I've been jacked in for 72. And then Josh 4, brooding, airy, mysterious. Well then, you're lucky, because I've been jacked in for 72. Okay, let's get a vote going. These voices are going to change. My characterization of them are probably going to be all over the map, which is something that kind of happens when you're not good at voice acting. You kind of lose track of the voice you're doing and have to kind of keep refining it over and over again. All right, start poll. Who is Sally currently tethered to? All of them need to sound like they think they are hotter than they actually are. I agree. I agree with that pretty fully. got a close ride now. I like this. Is this for an actual game? No. This is for me reading this book. He can't be cool? He must be cool. If he's not cool, what are we supposed to do? Ah, this is close. I like this. This is exciting. Oh, it's coming right down to it. What? Ooh, Josh 3 takes it. All right. Get out of here. Get out. Go away forever. All right. We got our Josh. So, our even the preliminary character archetypes. Josh there. Can cover the ladies. Josh is an ally. That's what we know about Josh. But Josh, straightforward, knows what to do, doesn't mind that, or doesn't care that you are intimidated by him and his amazing powers. Straightforward, practical. Not a lot of asshole or defensiveness to him. I guess we'll see. We might have to adjust that as we go, but they told us a million things about his character, but nothing actually about his character. Like they said, this is who he is, but nothing about his personality or the way that he like reacts to things or his like background or writing, I guess. All right, Josh's coolness is a slippery slope, indeed. Well then, you're lucky, because I've been jacked in for 72. Don't you think I know that's stupid? What do you think cleans up the mess you make when... Hold on. When you don't even bother to look where you're going around here? You knocked over my Dieffenbachia again. I don't even know what that is. Dieffenbachia? They're having a little bit of a spat, you guys. Sally was a perky redhead with green eyes, freckled skin, and an Irish temper. She liked Joshua, maybe even loved him, but she had a life too, damn it. But she couldn't be expected to wait on him all the time. The blood surged up under her pale, translucent skin. I cannot wait for more descriptions of Sally's body. Ugh. Okay, what's the over-under you guys think we're going to get through this book without hearing about Sally's nipples in some way? I guarantee you they're going to be in a cold room at some point, and they're going to talk about it. Just remember. Let's see. Halfway through, Sally will fuck. Probably? I feel like that's maybe too much? If there's sex in this book, I can't wait to hear what they think sex is like. Pale, translucent skin, giving her a flushed, excited aspect. She was bony and gawky, still shaking off the coltish awkwardness of adolescence, but she knew what she wanted, and being babysitter to Joshua wasn't it. She'd left her parents' home in a comfortable Beaverville south of Night City to live down here in the techno shanties with Joshua. Are they in Night City? Huh. With Joshua, a college dropout with uncertain prospects. At first it had been exciting to be with a runner, a guy who put his life literally on the line, an electronic online cowboy who was always coming back from his net forays with a new angle, a piece of information to sell, or a rippin' place they could go party. But after a while it got old, having to tend to him while he sat there spacing into the machine. She'd tried jacking in, but she was more connected to the day-to-day. Maybe it was her job in the nursery, tending to plants, especially the endangered ones, hothouse bulbs from the shrinking jungles of Brazil and Southeast Asia, vivid, fragrant orchids, and richly blooming, oversized rhododendrons. She actually, takes care of plants. She's the flower girl. I am so excited, or maybe it'll never happen, but I will be excited for, people to figure out the things that they thought were amazing were actually just total cliches. Like Eris in Final Fantasy VII. She's connected with the life force. She grows flowers. Yeah. Yes, okay. I get it. The symbol of humanity and purity and virginal innocence is connected with flowers. It's like Snow White, man. It's the same shit. Like, oh, the nature's chosen her and they flock around her and yeah, anyway. That made her feel like the real world still had more to offer than the virtual one. Even after Joshua color-printed fractal images of imaginary flowers created from mathematical constructs, they paled before the delicate and nearly extinct beauty of the rainforest flora. It was her mission to save as many of the doomed as many of the doomed specimens as she could before the last bulldozer effaced the natural wild for an orderly rubber plantation, or the last stand of teak fell before the cutters. If that meant leaving him, she would. Okay, never mind. She's strong. She is strong. But Joshua didn't get it. He was desensitized to human interaction. He missed the subtle clues of body language that would have alerted him to Sally's distress, because the net had a shorthand for these gestures that was limited to a few hundred expressions. He too was just spouting from the rich loam of teenage mulch. A handsome boy with a cocky attitude and eyes that sometimes missed taking it all in because they were sending out such intense energy. He had straight black hair that was chopped unevenly in the back. Oh, hold on a second. Because, of course, he saw himself as an icon. A dashing fellow, he designed himself in the image of his namesake as a tearing down the walls, robe and sandal-wearing bloodthirsty warrior from a Harry Grimes biblical holopic. He even had a trumpet that had a very special physical modeling properties. What? He even had a trumpet that had very special physical modeling properties. Alright. He was too thin because he didn't give a shit about eating. It just slowed him down. Diet soda and junk food was all he needed until the blood sugar low hit. Then he'd pop another chocolate power cube and zoom on. Sally used to have hot homemade soups waiting for him, but Joshua didn't understand or appreciate why she didn't just open a can of and wave the stuff. It could be ready in 30 seconds. Hell, he'd done it while he was piloting a sim cycle through cyberspace. Like right now, he'd been flipped out for all of 2 minutes and already his fingers were twitching. He was itching to climb back into the box. All he needed to do was relieve himself and maybe chomp a kibble or two, but she was here in his face, wanting to know when he was going to make some money toward the rent. If he could only just climb right inside the machine, it would all be so easy. He heard about people who'd turn themselves into AIs, like the famous Rosh Bartmoss, his hero. The world's greatest netrunner, now dead but still transmitting from somewhere in the net. I think that's referenced in the 2077 trailer, actually. I think he's stuck in the part where they had to wall off part of the internet. I think that happens after 2020, though. But yeah, because it's the net wars happened after 2020, and corporations invented so many destructive AI to fight each other, and ended up taking over the internet, and they just had to sort of wall off a whole part of the internet. And that's what Night Watch does. They kind of monitor cyber traffic and make sure that no AIs and daemons get out of the old internet. That's what that Great Firewall was, the giant black thing. I like the idea of there being an internet no man's land. Let's see. Yeah. His soul a set of algorithms, but it cost millions and billions of EB, or Eurobucks, eddies, as they are colloquially known on the streets of Cyberpunk. And he was just a little shit with a programmer's facility for manipulating data. He hadn't done anything like the great Rosh Bartmoss. No high adventure, nothing but a little pranksterism. Jesus, he couldn't even daydream in the real world without her chattering away. What, Sally? I said goodbye. She was standing in front of him and, funny, she was holding 2 big suitcases and she had her hat on, the one she'd made herself, weaving dried flowers into straw until it looked like she was wearing a bouquet. And she was crying. Where are you going? What do you care? She was right, of course. He didn't care. He was far too gone. Don't go. I mean, that was actually a pretty good read, I guess. Don't go, he said weakly, but he didn't get up, didn't put his arms around her, and didn't give her the hug she longed for. That would have made her drop her bags and stay, because what she wanted wasn't attention, not even sex, but just human, physical touch. You couldn't touch anyone on the net. That's what Sally hated about it. But for Joshua, there was safety in that. You were once removed, so to speak. If you didn't like somebody or how things were going, you snapped them off. You changed the pattern. Bland, that's what Sally called it. But to Joshua, it was cleaner, easier. Life was so messy. His term started ringing. Somebody was calling him on the net. He was momentarily distracted as he checked the term screen for the incoming caller's ID to see whether or not he wanted to bother to answer it. But there was nothing being displayed. That was odd. He checked under the desk to see if he'd kicked the cord out, and when he looked up, Sally Thrower was gone. That was all one sentence, by the way. What is it with these writers and run-on sentences anyway? Just like that, Joshua had a sinking feeling, like when he dive-looped down out of the sky over the Pacifica grid. But this one wasn't because the senses were being tricked by a flight simulation program. This was real hurt. He loved Sally. Why was she leaving him? He didn't have to put up with that shit on the net, where he was trumpet-blowing Josh, Old Testament warrior prophet king. Joshua was torn between running after her and answering the still insistent pinging of his net phone. Finally, he screamed into the mic, "What the hell do you want?" But he was talking to the ether. There was no one there. Fractals were splitting on the holo display, floating 50 millimeters in front of his eyes. As he watched, they spun themselves into an old-fashioned confirmation message with an odd twist. Program successfully failed. It actually says that, like, center justified in all caps. Program successfully failed. I'm sure that's out of focus, but whatever. Some goofball was playing with his head. It was probably one of his hacker buddies, maybe Joey Jet or Freaky Freddy. Freaky Freddy is with a PH, by the way, for both of them, just so you are aware. He called them later, but it was still a neat trick. Incoming calls were always supposed to identify themselves. It was a strict net requirement. Maybe if he dove in, he could follow the data trail and hack back, Jack. Sometimes there's things in this book that I would be jealous of if I had, like, if this were parody, I'd be like, fuck, that's funny. But it's not. Hack back, Jack. Oh, man. He forgot about Sally T and plunged into the net. Well, she's gone, all right. See you later. Wait, hold on. Need to. All right. See you later. There we go. I knew she wouldn't last. Yeah, Techno Terry. Electronic Ethan. I'm sure she'll be back. She's a perky redhead. I mean, like, sometimes novels like this will burn characters right at the beginning, but there's zero chance that, like, a cardboard cutout, perky, fiery, young Irish redhead will not re-enter this story in some way. Watuzi, thank you for the Prime. Reminds me, I'm a bit behind on my subs, so I apologize about that. Black Mando, thank you. Apple Day, thank you for the sub. Hobroy, thank you for the Prime. Minor Tom, appreciate that. Yeah, I'll summon a tech imp. I mean, stuff like this kind of either needs a PA or more work from me, but Minor Tom, thanks for the Prime. Michael, but maybe not, thank you for the sub. Hannah, thank you. Yeah, that's kind of going back to the thanks I got in chat, but okay, let's see. Forgot about Sally T and plunged back into the net, logging on with a blast of his trumpet macro that launched dozens of programs, and boom, the net appeared all at once, humming with activity. Joshua entered at the beach, a safe spot not often patrolled by the Netwatch security ops. There was too much of it to cover and too few of them. From here, one could stand and face the expanse of the virtual ocean, rendered in elaborate shifting patterns of green, blue, and white, sometimes calm, sometimes choppy, the tide running in and out, the beach sands and dunes changing shape and texture. The illusion indistinguishable from the real shoreline above, the real shoreline only by the faint grid lines that delineated the sky above it, and the two spheres that hung there, one representing the setting sun, and one for the lunar disk, so that netrunners could tell the local time by glancing upward. What trumpet macro, what does that mean? Let's find out. I think trumpet is cyberpunk slang. No? I mean, it sounds like it's like an operating system or something. Okay, so, slang for hacking. Trumpet player is a hacker. So hold on. I don't know, man. I'm trying to find some connection of like slang of trumpet. And I'm not really finding anything. Trumpet player. Someone who plays the trumpet, obviously. Kisses amazingly. That's it. And that's like Urban Dictionary. I don't... I don't think it's slang. They called him a trumpet blasting earlier. It sounds like a trumpet player is his net aesthetic. You might be right, like a literal digital trumpet. He's like Dootin. He's wait, hold on. He's doing the thing. Josh is on the cybernet. He's God bless you, Josh. Yeah, maybe they'll explain it later. Sure. This is I almost what? Don't look. This is Josh coming on the internet. Yeah, sorry, Trey. Don't look. Don't look. The kids know not to look. I've told the kids not to look before. Also, this is still technically a mature-rated channel. Okay, so we got a whole description of the beach, which looks very cybery. There's spheres and grids. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Joshua had fine-tuned his deck to the point where the slightest shift in his focus changed the display. He rarely used the term keyboard and monitor that sat in his apartment before his listless, inert body. Instead, he'd programmed everything to respond to voice commands or subtle eye movements, building on the work that had been done years before with quadriplegics to provide them with interfaces. More than once, Sally said he'd be happier if he were a cripple, then he wouldn't have to make excuses. Ouch. Jesus Christ. Change the category from chatting to art? Yeah, you're right. Probably should be art. I didn't know what this counted as. But we're doing it, though. Boy, are we doing it. Actually, hold on. Before I do that, let me do this. I don't think it's like... My hacker green is usually not that full, but we'll go with that. Whoop. Always got to hit enter. Finalize those changes. Alright. At least that reads a little bit more. Time to Photoshop. Yeah. This stream is an interesting expression of a lot of different technologies overlaid on top of each other, isn't it? All right. Let's see. Out there, he was a disappointment to Sally, to his parents who wondered why their child prodigy wasn't fast-tracking it to a corporate power job. To everybody, he owed money and favors. But down here in the net, he was a magician, a gymnast of the clandestine, a god. Out of nothing, he would summon a sim cycle to ride into Night City of the collective imagination of thousands of runners like himself. He did so now. With a twitch of one eyebrow, Josh made a low-slung speed machine appear on the sand. With wheels of Swiss cheese and a seat of snails. A machine festooned with lights, bells, and streamers like a Philippine jitney bus. What? That sounds racist as hell, but I have no idea what that means. So wait, hold on. He's on a cyber beach now. We forgot. He's entered the net. I didn't update it. Oh, I mean, this feels perfect. All right. Stupid. All right, there we go. Thanks, Adobe. Thanks, Adobe stock. And he's on a... Hold on. Alright, hold on a second. Promise this is gonna be worth it. Ah, come on. Alright. Alright. 1 second. Sorry guys, a lot of windows to juggle around here. Okay. Oh. That's always a weird thing. Like, you have to hold Alt to zoom out. And then... There you go. And then... Actually, wait. Dang it. Stop it. I don't want to combine those, but that just means his name's going to be backwards in the future. So, I think if you hold space and move it... No? Okay. Actually, I'm gonna do this a lot easier. There. Well, sorta. You don't get that sick perspective. There. Oops. Oh, I got it backwards. There we go. Alright. Josh is flying through cyberspace now. The words are backwards on Cybercycle. That's Cybercycle right there. Alright. Needs LEDs? I think I got you covered. Hold on a minute. Oops. You know what always makes things look futuristic? Ah, shit. I never understood why lens flare only like renders on the one layer. You can't like, I guess you could render it on a new layer, but then you have no idea where you're putting it. Damn it. This is a, oh boy, so this is, fuck. Yeah, see like, if I render a lens flare on the bike, it's only going to show up on the bike. Actually, you know what? That works. Never mind. There. Fuck it. Here's something that's annoying. Why does my selection box stop at the boundary of the canvas now? That never happened before, and I hit some fucking button. It used to be so convenient to be able to drag selections outside the canvas, but it won't let me do it now. Why did I just do that? What? Ugh. Put outer glow? Oh yeah, outer glow works. Outer glow is gonna make this crop look a little funny though. Gotta watch out for that. You're right though. Oh wait. There's one more thing we can do. There we go. Yeah. Now we got a real cybercycle. Okay. It's probably an option in the upper portions of the tool. I swear I looked around for so long. So this is on the marquee tool, like. Select and mask, but that's something entirely different. I don't know. I remember Googling it, and then like all I found was a Creative Cows thread where someone insisted that this never happened in Photoshop, and somebody else being like, no, for real, like that is absolutely something that I used to do all the time, and now it doesn't happen. And then somebody else was like, oh yeah, you're right. Oh, that's weird. And that was it. All right. Josh is now in the net, cyber running. Yeah, Philippine jitney bus is the phrase that gave me a bit of a pause, and I may have just gotten into even more trouble saying it again. And a cavalier touch mounted on the handlebars, a horse's head that talked and turned to stare at strangers as it flew. The rounds of cheese gave off a very waxy scent if you had fragrance mod hooked into your term. It was altogether a flight of fantasy, this vehicle, yet it could propel Josh to the farthest corners of the net in a few minutes, while lesser runners walked or rode ordinary sim devices in real time. Gee up, Cyber Slew, he cried, evoking the name of a great racehorse from the recent past. One of those beasts of mythical proportions, 40 hands high, that raced on the new tracks built to accommodate their immense bodies. The horse head threw him a backward glance of boredom and showed its teeth. The cycle gently lifted off the sand, which blew around realistically as if from the backwash jet exhaust. He didn't need the icon, it was just a presentation of the module that moved him. If he wanted to, he could make it disappear and he could swim lazily through the sky. That's what he liked about the net. No rules, at least for somebody like himself, who could make it up as he went along. The tourists, the gawkers, and the corporate mojos who used the net as their trading floor were confined to certain streets and locuses. Conventions established over years of program linking a mutually agreed upon reality. Sure, others toyed with their icons, made fanciful images of themselves as handsome creatures, mythical beasts, or known celebrities, but they trod the same paths as everybody else. The established city icons, the bars and bistros of Night City, for example, that they could visit in real life if they so desired. Runners like Joshua were more adventurous. Let's see here. Jeepneys were made from the original US military jeeps left over in the world after World War II. The word jeepney is likely a portmanteau word, a combination of jeep and jitney. So jitney is the word from the book. Both words have common slang and popular vernacular of the area. Jitney is a more popular term for an American taxi cab, and jeep a newly coined term to describe a military vehicle. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, or you could just teleport. There's that too. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, runners like Joshua were more adventurous. Out there on the fringe, beyond the known coordinates, was wilder space, where anything might happen. That's one word and it's capitalized. Wilder space. W-I-L-D-E-R space. It's not wild space, wilder space. The area was undefined and far removed from the LDLs, or long-distance links, but we all knew that. That were the electronic basis for the net. If somebody wanted to form their own city grid, or pirate some info, or cause any kind of trouble, they did it in wilder space. The place was unstable, too. If you were running in wilder space and it crashed, you crashed, too. And sometimes it wasn't so easy to get out. You might get sucked into some data sinkhole and spun around for a while like a laundromat nightmare. Joshua would venture into wilder space later, but first there was this weird message to check out. The one that had arrived on his turn without a caller ID. It could only have come from Night City. The flight from the beach took only a few seconds. Now he was hovering over the grid, crossing hatches of icons representing the buildings and environments of that metropolis, which was set above the true horizon to give the pretty illusion of a city free-floating like the fabulous mountains of Buddhist creation myths. Program successfully failed. Machine language, programmer humor, hack glop net sysops wouldn't allow. It had to have come from someone busting all the mail relays. Joshua wondered if he was the only person who had received this message, and if so, why? He hadn't been running any programs at that moment. He'd been dealing with a hysterical girlfriend who was now his ex-girlfriend. Holy shit. Oh, hysterical. Okay. Stupid women. Yeah, hysterical's a bit much there, dude. Hysterical. She's like wiping his doo-doo butt, and she's like, hey, this sucks. He's like, get out of here, you're gone crazy. Just leave me with my computer. I don't need you, stupid bitch. Anyway, another pang of pain hit his stomach, but he pushed it aside and fluttered down till he was directly above the cluster of icons that represented the Night City LDL. Show me sender IDs to the last 600 net messages as points on a scatter graph. He instructed the controller on the LDL, and instantly a corner of his display was filled with a peculiar spray paint configuration of the chart. Heuristo, Josh said to himself, using the true Greek version of Eureka. That's how smart he is. 599 of the messages were aligned in a typical pattern as coming from other points on the Pacifica grid or through relays from the Olympia, Atlantis, or Tokyo Chiba regions. Only one dot of the 600 fell outside of expected parameters. This point had no location attached to it, and had therefore been treated as an exception processing and placed by the charting programs in an irregular location at the crosshairs of the Y and Z axes. Give me everything you've got on the anomaly, he commanded. The CPU churned momentarily and produced a blank screen. Joshua wondered if maybe he'd misspoke. There had to be something on this blip unless... Run shield cutter, he ordered. And his deck attacked the spec with a series of stripping and decorticating macros that would uncover any data hidden behind the sheath cloaks. As he perched on the rim of the LDL's sat dish icon, his macro bored away at the infracoating like the proverbial Zen mosquito attacking the iron bowl. Oh, Chum and Big Hoss, thank you for gifting 5 subs. I just realized my alerts are not on. Hold on a minute. Can't expect people to give money and not see their name show up. What do any of these words mean? It's hacking, all right? Josh knows what he's doing. Look at him. Come on. Bilbo Vibes. That's a great name. Thank you for the prime. But Chum, seriously, thank you for the 5 and then the 2 more gift subs. 7. Damn. How is this not parody? Because it came out long enough ago. Like, wait, there's got to be a year on it somewhere. Hold on. Let me see. 1996. The best year. A fine year for Cyberpunk. Oh, York has got it, yeah. Decorticate is a word that I hate now. I don't even know if that's... Like, how does somebody even find that word and then decide to use it in a book that humans are supposed to read? Okay, well, whatever. His shield cutter's bashing away at this thing. Within minutes, the outer layers of the file were ground to dust and exposed a translucent pearl-like nugget of pure information. God. I'm realizing, like... Maybe it would be a better idea to stretch it out so it's the 4x3s don't look so silly. But then the widescreens are going to be oddly... I mean, it's an overlay, so it doesn't matter. Hold on. Can't tell where the edges of the screen are anymore. Whatever, that'll work for now. Pure information. It turned out to be written in a 5th level machine language called Metatron 3 that Joshua guessed only a few hundred people on the planet could program in. But he was one of them. Yeah. He ran a debugger on the Jewel to make sure he wouldn't pick up anything nasty if he cracked it open, and when it ran clean, he read it. Data is the opium of the people. Next meeting in 600 billion nanoseconds at the usual place. Be there, or be squared. So, this is important. The B squared is a B with an exponent on it. It's B with a little tiny 2. He hacked open a Jewel, yeah, exactly. This really could not be any better. I wanna thank you guys for indulging me, because I feel like that's what this is. You guys are following my descent into cyberpunk trash. Curiouser and curiouser. The message had come to him, but not directly. Joshua had the distinct impression he was being tested. They could have simply invited him. Wouldn't that be POW B, comma 2? Yeah, if you were actually coding, it would be. Whoever they were, but instead they laid out a day to scavenger hunt. They were likely monitoring him right now to see what he'd do next. Ye olde unexpected usually worked best on the net. Josh, ye old... you gotta say the E, right? Josh's icon brought his trumpet to his lips and blew the stirring open to Bolero, which was a macro to suck the pearl of wisdom for further analysis. Hold on a minute. God, of course, sorry. Let's see. I thought, yeah, Bolero is guitar. All right. Actually, wait, before I do that, hold on. In a minute. This is also going to be worth it. Hold on a second. I mean, Bolero's great. Bolero reminds me of, like, this is my pop music addled mind, but to me Bolero is always Tatooine music. It always kind of sounds like a lilting adventure through a desert. Okay. My man's has got it in. Okay, 1 second. I don't know this very well. So. Good job, Josh. All right, let's get that cyber music back on. He's a real virtuoso, isn't he? He's big hacking. Okay. Where was I? Something. Okay. A macro to suck in the pearl of wisdom for further analysis, but apparently his gamesmen were prepared for such an eventualities. As soon as the tiny sphere felt a tug on its coordinates, it blossomed into a flower whose petals fell away on the breeze, vanishing into nothingness. 600 billion nanoseconds was only 10 minutes. If he hung around Night City for a little while, he might be able to follow somebody out to wilder space, where the meeting would undoubtedly be held on one of the pirate ships floating at the fringe of the visible ocean of the Pacific Grid, between the defined coastline and Honolulu or the Gilbert Islands. That's all one sentence, man! Can't you mix it up? Whatever. Joshua wandered over to the strip of icons that represented downtown Night City. He had one or two favorite hangouts, like the Core Dump, a hacker's bar, and freeware shop where the latest programs were traded. But today he decided to drop into the If-Then-Else Cafe. Well, we need a new backdrop then. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? Like, cyber cafes are actually a thing, which is kind of the problem. Alright. I guess... Oh, I know what to do, though. No, I know what to do. Alright. Okay, this is a pretty old photo. Okay. There's an easy way. There's a really easy way to make anything look futuristic. And I will show you that now. You go here. You go stylize. You go find edges. Bam! Then you slap an invert on it. Boom! Now we're on the internet. Okay. I love fucking Photoshop so much. Okay, so we got a group here. Let me make sure that that's everybody. Okay, yeah. All right. So Cyber Cafe. Josh has joined the server. What's up, assholes? Oh, wait, hold. I have to like. There we go. Josh has arrived. This is what Photoshop was made for. Exactly. Look at how futuristic that looks. It's like I'm on the internet. Gotta hide that ride. That's right. He would park it outside. Good point. Good point. Yeah. So, he's... Like, let's just imagine that the parking lot's over here somewhere. Fuck. Yeah, we'll just hide it for now. We might need it later. This got them all. Nope. That's fine. Okay. Looks like a late 90s website. Yeah, I mean, the games kind of tell the story. I think it's like mid-2000s, but... okay. The If-Then-Else Cafe. He popped open that icon like a can of kibble and took a table near a window that projected a simulated view of a Night City street. His icon was sharply pixelated and smooth in motion compared to the fuzzy edges and herky-jerky movements of the rental units that compromised most of the tourists in the cafe. If that's true, then hold on a second. Yeah. There we go. This is Josh on the internet. It was a truism that all icons are equal, but some are more equal than others. If you had extra computing power or programming savvy, you could tell at a glance who was running with superior decks, who was hot, and who was not. Most of the tourists were bumping around in standard iconic wear, done up in Hollywood celebrities or boring superhero-y men or supermodel women images. Wow. Gender normative much, Josh? Jeez. A few favored the man-beast look, wolf men and lizard heads being the most popular, and aliens were in too, a variety of styles from smooth-skulled, bug-eyed waif to toothy reptilian. But Josh found the Halloween every night motif uninteresting. If there was a member of the secret club in the cafe, he'd be something chill, like Joshua's rendition as an Old Testament prophet. Oh, so Joshua's avatar is literally like Moses or something like that. Maybe we gotta update this then. So, let's see here. This is Josh. Let's see here. If that's the case, then... So I gotta keep that justification. God. That's the other thing is... Yeah, I think I rasterized that text. Oh well. Alright. Alright, never mind. Cyber Josh is here now. Still has the trumpet, though. Okay. He's holding it. Okay, Cyber Josh has arrived. This is finally becoming real cyberpunk. Finally. This is going to take 1 million years to finish this book, but I'm okay with it. I'm enjoying this a lot more than just the Batman Forever thing already, and I'm only 12 pages in. Good lord. Okay. There at the bar was an oddity dressed in a ghoulish costume, like skin turned inside out, or a peeled human, so that coursing arteries and veins pulsed atop the flesh rather than just beneath it, and the meaty body glistened with grease. The face was like that of a burn victim, eyes protruding from bony sockets, nose exposed, lips bared back. Others on the net gave this freak a wide berth, but Josh decided to run a little test himself. He slipped off to a private corner and pasted some text into a harmless little symbol sack. Yeah, that's what it says. Symbol sack that he handed off to the waiter to deliver to Mr. Inside Out and watched for the icon's reaction. Joshua's message: meeting in a few picoseconds. Would be meaningless to anyone except his quarry. The man accepted the waiter's offering gingerly, and Joshua saw that he ran anti-personnel programs on it before his icon agreed to touch it. As soon as he read the message, he disappeared, and Joshua, with all his techie gear, was not quick enough to trace him. This proved nothing, of course. The man might simply have been bored or reluctant to engage a stranger in data exchange. This was typical of the antisocial nature of many hackers, who in real life were lonely programmers who lived with their mothers and didn't have the social skills of slop hogs. Unlike our main man Joshua, I guess, who is very cool. Joshua assumed his seat at the table. The waiter shrugged and cleared his place of the untouched sim beverage. A pageant of peculiar personalities passed by, mostly browsers and touristos, but occasionally augmented by a true phenomenon that could only have been created by a code artiste like Joshua. Hold on, is this still going? Okay. Huh. May have just been on full black or something. Have you heard of Cyberpunk Red Jumpstart Kit? It's the updated version to 2020. I've heard about it a little bit, yeah. Aren't they also doing like a 2050 pen and paper? Or something like that? I remember hearing something about that. But yeah, they're putting out a new version of the tabletop. Which I think is pretty cool. Sim beverage, peculiar personalities, okay. He quickly tired of the spectacle. This wasn't where he usually spent time on the net. Typically, he was back in the guts of a machine, hacking away at some corporate cube for fun and profit. Oh, it takes place in the 40s, okay. That's good. Like a little... Well, that's like... Isn't that during a particularly bad time in cyberpunk lore? I think, like, that's during the Metal Wars, I think? Or another war before that? Metal Wars were like... 2050, I think. I can't remember. My lore book is on the other side. The 40s were World War III. Okay, so yeah, that's right. There was a Cold War, and then a Hot War, and then nothing, and then a corporate war, which is the Metal Wars. Wait, World War III was between Arasaka and Militech, I think, and then the Metal Wars were something else. Shoot, I'm getting fuzzed up now. I should go look it up. Oh, I was making a joke. I mean, there was a World War III in cyberpunk canon after 2020. There was a hot war that basically devastated the entire world for a decade and a half. A lot happened in the canon of cyberpunk between 2020 and 2077. It's actually really cool. All the world building that CDPR has done around that. Yeah, the Fourth Corporate War. Yeah, and then there was another one, the Metal War. Have to hop off. All right, Pat, man. I'll have this on YouTube, I think, before long. So if you want to catch up, you can certainly do so there. All right. Where were we? Let's see. A commotion caught his attention. Icons were bouncing off the cafe walls left and right as a small cyclone whirled into the if-then-else. Some jerk was wreaking havoc with the motion sensors. Joshua watched as a pair of Netwatch cops suddenly appeared in front of the spinning icon. These policemen were in full riot gear and heavily armed. They loosed a pair of bulldogs which attacked the intruder. The mini tornado slowed down under the assault but managed to smash into a few more tables and wipe out a few more innocent bystanders before the effects of the heavy ammo caused it to implode. When the image collapsed, the Netwatch operator seized on its vestiges to trace it back to a source, but there wasn't enough left to make an ID. Joshua was close enough to hear one say to the other, "Stupid prank," to which the other responded, "Yeah, call in the sweepers." And the next thing that happened was a loudspeaker announcement that the If-Then-Else cafe was being shut down for maintenance. Would everyone please leave the coordinates for the next 10 minutes? In the instant before the icon collapsed and zoomed in, Joshua saw one figure floating above the rest, spinning up in advance of the implosion that signaled the icon contraction. It was like surfing. Josh had done it many times. But it was dangerous, because if the wave closed down too fast, you'd wipe out, just like at the beach. Josh jumped on the shimmering crest of the screen change to follow his character. When the icon suddenly shrank from a pictorial representation of the cafe to a static darkened symbol, the two of them were propelled until the silvery sky above the Night City grid, and for a minute the sim stars of Night City lit up as they popped into near-orbit altitude. What a rush. Now they're literally in cyberspace, I guess. Of course, they weren't really flying. The two of them were engaged in a consensual hallucination as they traveled on the grid landlines. The two of them were like miniature rockets, twin meteoric flashes of light. Netwatch Ops hated this sort of interactivity. It was expensive and disruptive, but Josh and his fellow traveler didn't care. They went streaming across the stratosphere, their momentum carrying them far out over the ocean. Joshua lagged slightly behind, hoping to discover where his unknown fellow traveler would land. The grid lines flew by like rows of corn from the window of a passing car. When there used to be corn, lashing and flashing parallel for an instant, then strangely curved as they whipped by. What? The grid lines flew by like rows of corn from the window of the passing car when there used to be corn. I guess that's like it's an aside. It sounds like it's just part of the sentence, but it's like should have been parenthetical. Yes, we get it. There's no corn. Lashing and flashing parallel for an instant, then strangely curved as they whipped by. Only this was no cornfield, but the endless expanse of the simulated Pacific Ocean. Okay. From this perceived height, the pirate ship icon was a mere speck in the emptiness of the Pacifica grid, as represented by the softly undulating plain of blue-green water. Josh would have missed it if he hadn't been following the surfer and noted the dip and the shallow angle of the descent he'd made toward the floating renegade vessel. He'd coasted through their defenses by tagging behind in the shadow of the surfer. There weren't any posted coordinates for this icon. It was running as a shrouded gate program that made it illegal, was also invisible to ordinary runners who rarely ventured into wilder space, and then only at their peril. The icon didn't expand by zooming out to offer him entry like any ordinary net symbol. Instead, it inserted him instantly into its interior, not a cozy ship's compartment. Why should it be? This was the net where anything was possible. But a room, like in a castle, with walls and floors of stone empty except for softly flickering torches mounted at angles and iron brackets set in rough-hewn walls. Okay, now we're in a cyber castle. A minute. What I love about this book is it just moves, man. Why waste time? Why waste time on things that don't matter? Just get right to the cyber castle already. Jeez. Shockingly, there aren't that many cyber castles. Actually, I like this one. Pretty good. Oh, shit. I was just pulling up a ton of fucking, like, steampunk. How dare you? How dare you assume that I want anything to do with that trash? Alright. Cyberpunk is cool. Steampunk is not. There. I said it. Okay. Cyber Josh has arrived in Cybertopia. Swoosh! Hold on a minute. He's got to announce that he's here. Alright. Thanks, Josh. Just hold your trumpet again. There we go. Hey, Jacko. We're not that far in, believe it or not. We're on page 14. Josh has already broken up with his girlfriend and got a mysterious message on his terminal. And after investigating that, he went to a cyber cafe and followed a fellow cyber surfer to a cyber castle out in wilder space. This is all literally true. I'm not making any of this up. And he's just landed. So who sent this message? And why did they lead him here? Josh is the only character that matters. His perky Irish girlfriend, Sally, has already broken up with him and left. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he broke up with her, not the other way around. He's done with her. She was being hysterical. Yeah. Because she didn't want to clean up after his comatose ass. She'll be back. Yeah, she'll be back. Josh is too good at hacking. She's got to come back. Alright. The glowing flames illuminated the scene with the sputtering variability of creosote-soaked rags. A dozen or so shrouded figures stood in silence in a mystical pattern with one of their number at the head of the arrangement. Joshua had arrived at the meeting at the precise time specified in the cryptic message he'd decoded. No doubt he'd been led there by the icon surfer, even though Josh had thought he'd followed undetected. As he hugged the back wall as roll call was taken. He hugged the back wall as roll call was taken. It's passive voice, but okay. As the names were called off, Joshua tried to identify who was speaking, but the room echoed with a non-specific ringing hollowness of stone. A wonderfully subtle audio sim that Joshua appreciated from a purely technical standpoint. The members of this movement had taken the names and images of revolutionary figures from history as their icons. Trotsky? Da. Che? Si. Mao? A single grain of rice. The chairman uttered one of the famous sayings from his Little Red Book. And so it went. Pancho Villa, Spartacus, and Ethan Allen all checked in. The taking of names concluded, and then the assembly began to chant in a mock Gregorian style. Oh, baby. So wait. Mock Gregorian. I really want to put on, like, Enigma or something for this, but unfortunately that is hyper copywritten. I'll just do it myself. We are the Holo Men. We are the stuffed men. Our voices Sorry, I fucked it up. Our dried voices when we whisper together, transform the net forever. That's the Gregorian chant. They're gonna transform the net, you guys. They all laugh together, synchronistically, like Noroms. The feared random access, Norom equals moron, backwards. Wow! Noroms. The feared random access vandals of the net. But these were not mindless, surgically altered characters ganging up and busting through the interface. There was subtlety and pleasure in the programmatic deviations of the Holo Men. They were artists, at least to a runner like Joshua. Their programs were elegant crystal expressions grafted onto the fundamental structure of the net like a plastic surgeon's handiwork, seamless and suture-free. If you didn't know exactly what to look for, you'd swear there was nothing here but the empty waving sands at the bottom of the illusionary ocean. If they knew Joshua was here, they didn't acknowledge him. What was their purpose for meeting? What was their agenda? After the chant, they milled around in a peculiar pattern, but Joshua couldn't grasp the essential meaning of their movements. He remained in the shadows at the back of the room, watching, until their shuffling, slow-motion pacing began to bore him. He materialized his trumpet and was about to give them an Old Testament wake-up call. What does that even mean, man? Did they have trumpets in the Old Testament? I mean, they had horns, for sure, but I don't know that they had trumpets. Good Lord. Good Lord Almighty. Sorry, guys, just checking things. Steph works for CDPR. Did they make her read this? No, but they should. I'm gonna make her. I'll whisper it in her ear while she's sleeping, so she has no choice but to take it in. Trumpet horn, same thing. I guess you're right. What is the book title? Holo Men. Okay, I guess it's not quite in the title, but yeah. Hey, what's up, Tom? Made it. Welcome. Jericho's walls crumbled under the weight of cyber ska. Hell yeah. Absolutely hell yeah. Okay, so Josh was getting prepared to dude out his arrival. When one of the group broke from the pack and approached him. As he neared Joshua, the character shed his robe to reveal the tri-cornered hat, leather breeches, and silk shirt of colonial America. Wow, okay. So Josh is getting ready to just blast some wild trump, and then here comes that doot 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 doot. Hey there! Well, take that trumpet away. No need to disrupt a nice congenial meeting. Oh, thank you, P-Funk. Thank you for the resub. In 1818, a German horn player named Heinrich David Stotzel created the first working brass instrument valve. Okay, so yes, they did not have valved instruments in the Old Testament. Whatever. You can do anything on the net. That's what I've learned. AJ, what have you walked in on? I'm reading through this book, visualizing it as we go, and then also giving chat the chance to vote on new characters in terms of how they sound and what they look like. I don't know if this is going to be a real character, so I don't know like how much voting to do. I guess this is the trick. Okay, so I skipped forward a little bit. I don't think this character is going to be around for long, so we'll just go with the voice for him. Who are you, comrade? Abby Hoffman, said Joshua, spontaneously evoking the name of the yippie revolutionary prankster of the 1960s. Yippie? Isn't it hippie? Whatever. Ah, delightful. Ethan Allen here. Come, join us for the ceremony. I don't think so, said Joshua. Ethan Allen quickly changed his icon into a crab and scuttled back into the shadows. Okay. Okay, well. Oops. He's transformed into this. Poof! Wait, hold on. Poof! Shit. Really want to drag it off screen, but I'd have to like zoom in a little bit for that to get some off-screen work going. Dun 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 dun. Alright. You must not see my face, he warned. What do you mean? Asked Joshua. You can be anything you want on the net. My data face. My encrypted signature. You have the ability, I know, to reveal it. We all do. We? Josh asked. He was tightrope walking in a windstorm, bathing in the lava lake of an active volcano, carrying crystal in an earthquake. Aren't you... Hollow? Huh? Josh didn't know if the crab character meant hollow or holographic. Oh, crab is still there. Dun 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 dun. Oh. Dun 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 dun. I love crabcore or crab rave. Soundstorm or whatever. Shoot, that Noise Storm. That artist does some great tracks. Anyway. Oh dear. Wait, hold on. Okay, so Josh didn't know if the crab character meant hollow or holographic and what difference it made. The question was idiotic. Oh, wait. Oh dear. My mistake. Goodbye. The crab then mutated into a scary monster and tried to crush Josh's trumpet. What? I mean, I get... Hold on. What? Scary monster. So, to me, let's say... Scary monster is just a crab, but with, like, really big claws. Wait, wrong way. It's so terrifying. There we go. Then... One second. What? No, let's not do that. And then it's... Grabs the... grabs the trumpet. Josh, no, your trumpet. It's got it now. Yes. It's really going after that trumpet. It's too scary. It's too scary. How will I do it now? How many edibles do you today? None, dude. I'm completely sober. I'm sipping on coffee, but that's it. This is the power of unrestrained creativity, I guess. Okay. What the fuck? Tried to crush Josh's trumpet, but Josh could run his icon changes with the best of them. He blew a note and changed into a wisp of sound, wafting up from the mouth of the brass horn and trailing away into the ether beyond the grasp of the fantastic chimera. This game of iconic transformation could have gone on endlessly, but the thundering voice of the leader of the Holo Men interrupted their frolic. Joshua Victor, come forward. There was no refusing this summons. Ethan Allen resumed his robed form, and Josh reverted to his own biblical depictions of himself. Alrighty. I guess he got his trumpet back. I think I may have deleted it. Alright, doesn't matter. Ethan Allen, yeah, resumed. The other crowded figures parted to let him through, as he soon found himself in the center of the circle, surrounded by these quasi-monks. Alright, one second. You know, I gotta admit, I thought there'd be more photos of this. That's alright, though. Alright. Actually, wait. I forgot. My bad. Stop it. I'm not using clone stamp. All right. Now, hold on. We're gonna go sick nasty with this. We're deep into cyberspace. That's when you give a little emboss before you find the edges. Yeah. Yeah, sick. Never been more cyber than this. All right. The cyber monks have summoned Cyber Josh to their ritual. All right. Was there ever any behind-the-scenes drama at Funhouse? You know what, Magic? I have so much dirt that I just haven't talked about, but I've decided that now's the time. There's no reason that I've been sitting on all these secrets, and it's time to let loose, and it's purely because you asked. I'm sorry to be snippy, but like, let's presume there were. What was I gonna do? Like, you think I'm just gonna talk shit right now? Come on. Come on. You gotta try better than that. You gotta tease it out. You gotta puppet me a little bit. You gotta butter me up first. Alright, let's see. I lost my place. Shocking, I know. Okay. The other cowled figures parted to let him through, as he soon found himself in the center of the circle surrounded by these quasi-monks. He stood before the leader, whose hood completely masked his face so that Joshua couldn't even see which historical figure he was supposed to represent. You have passed the first test. Well done. But why do you hesitate? Why do you not join in? I don't know why this is what the leader sounds like, but he just does. Join into what? Joshua asked. We represent the future. After the revolution, there will be us and us only. Do you want to be a part of the new order? If I knew what it was, I could tell you, Josh said, because he didn't like playing games when he didn't know the rules. It was his programmer's mentality to seek clarity. Perhaps you are too young, said the voice from within the cowl. I've been hearing that mush since I was 9. That's what old people always say. Doesn't sound very revolutionary to me. Enough! The council... Wait, this is part of the quote. Never mind. Enough! The council will conduct further analysis of your qualifications. We will... He starts every sentence by... in case you didn't know. In case that wasn't obvious. We will inform you of our decision. With these words, Joshua suddenly felt himself shrinking. Oh my god, the blackness, the blankness, the insensateness. Insensateness. Alright. Sure. It was horrible, the absolute nullity of it all. He was unplugged. No one could have prepared him for this. No one could have warned him. He would have laughed at the preposterous, outrageous notion that he was addicted to electricity, but it was draining out of him like oil out the crankcase of an antique int-combust engine. It's hyphenated. Int-combust engine. Interior combustion is too hard to say. Suddenly he was alone in his scummy apartment, booted off the net. Shit. Nobody had ever been able to do that. Not NetWatch, nor corporate security geeks, not even his hacker friends in jest. The apartment was cold and cheerless. What was different? Sally was gone, but there was something else. Something else was missing, an element of life Josh couldn't fully identify at first because he'd spent so little time there in the past few months. Finally, he realized what it was. She must have come back while he was meeting She must have come back while he was meeting the Holo Men because all her plans were gone. Or all her plants, excuse me. Oh, damn. Thomas the Hank Engine. Hold on, let me turn the sub-alerts down. Thank you so much for gifting 10 subs. That's a big cyberpog right there. Oh, he's back in his crappy apartment, that's right. snap back through all the cool spaces we've been to. Whoa! Careful now. Oh wait, no, he's normal Josh again. He's not Cyber Josh anymore. Just... Ah! No! There we go. Ah! Close. Oh, and he doesn't have his cyber trumpet anymore either. I'm gonna have to cyberize that eventually. Thomas, though, thank you for the subs, man. Hopefully this stupid experiment is entertaining. All right, nobody look at that. Kids, don't look at that. Pretend you didn't see that. Don't. No more duding. Well, I mean, he'll do it again. He just has to get back on the net. Oh man, is that? Ooh. Hold on a second. Let me skip over here. All right. Don't see it. Don't look at it. Come on, guys. Let's see here. Yeah. Sally took her plants, basically. That's because all her plants were gone. The blooming flowers, misty ferns, trailing vines and creepers, all the greenery and splashes of color that had made their grungy flat tolerable. A track of dirt and shed leaves led to the door. Josh stood up, stretched, and gazed around despondently. His life was in tatters. Only in the invisible world of ordered electrons that constituted the net did he feel happy. Frack it, he said to the bare gray walls. He rebooted and dove back into the vibrant imaginary world that swam before his star-kissed eyes. God damn the fucking verbiage of this book. He rebooted and dove back into the vibrant imaginary world that swam before his star-kissed eyes. And that concludes chapter 1 of the Holo Men. Can you group together Cyber Josh and the trumpet? Yeah, you can. Linking and grouping in Photoshop can be useful. It also can be annoying. But yeah, linking is the best idea because then I can actually flip the images without flipping the text. But hey, man, if Cyber Josh has to look the other way, his name is just gonna flip. That's just how it goes. All right, so that's chapter 1. Josh has had a date with Destiny, not the game. That doesn't exist anymore. That's back in the old times. He's been summoned by the Holo Men because he's real good at hacking. And I think we'll stop. Jesus Christ. Should I do another chapter? Let me see how long the next chapter is. Oh, it's okay. Never mind. The next chapter is like 4 pages long. It's just these two. So we'll move on. Chapter 2, Cicada Banana. I'm not making that up. That's the name of it. Ooh, I think did this overload my encoder? It did a little bit. Hey, wait, no, maybe not. Seems to be doing all right. I think. Never tried this video before. Yes? Okay. Yeah, I was curious if matting and partial opacity was going to murder it. This looks pretty sick, though. This is kind of the vibe I was going for. A weird overlay and some nice music. If you like Cicada Banana, getting hacked in the rain. Okay. Sally stroked the leaves of the... Of course, she's stroking already. And we're moving to Sally, except her chapter's like a page and a half. Sally's not gone. I hoped. You will never ever get rid of Perky in a novel that is... I've never known a novel to be as male gaze as this novel. Anyway. Sally stroked the leaves of the... Cypripedium. There we go. Sally stroked the leaves of the Cypripedium, which responded by opening and waving its stamens suggestively. She's really jerking off a plant. That's literally where they are right now. The hothouse thermostat was set at 105 to mimic the sweltering jungle of the Borneo. Rows of killer ladies' slipper orchids, a fortune in fragility, lined the glass-enclosed room. Recent rips in the ozone layer required polarizing filters to be installed in the roof panes, tinting the light with a faint blue tinge. Like Josh in his net world, Sally spent many hours here in the greenhouse, pruning, watering, prodding the delicate specimens of flower to pollinate. Prodding the delicate specimens to flower and pollinate. Japanese businessmen were willing to pay enormous sums for these rare plants. Her boss, Phil, was getting rich off the venture, but he realized he had a special talent in Sally, paid her well for her services, and he didn't object when she insisted that every 1 in 20 blossom be returned to the jungle in an effort to reintroduce the species to a land decimated by clear-cutting and erosion. With tweezers, she carefully plucked a mite off the shiny leaves of the Paphiopedium she was tending at that moment. She flipped down her magnifying eyepiece to examine the creature, then uttered a little shriek and jumped up. The bug was not a real insect. It was a metallic reproduction, mobile and articulated, but clearly a miniature machine. Phil! I don't know what that... Phil! There we go. She cried, come here! Quick, by the way, Sally is Irish. And she is a perky redhead, which is to say she's the total embodiment of what, like, I guess just nerdy dudes seem to love. Just, like, pale, redhead, like, fiery, tempered Irish chicks. I feel like, what is it, Amber Heard and, like, I haven't even seen Aquaman, but I saw, like, the trailer for 2 seconds, and I'm like, yep, that's it. That's exactly it. That's the thing. Anyway, I'm sorry if you are Irish. I'm doing a terrible Irish accent because I think her character is a caricature, because... I think it's unlikely that any character in the... I explained it already, so... Seaboog, what's up? Welcome. Just want to make sure you guys know where I'm coming from with that. Oh, my first crush was an Irish girl and I didn't even know I was a nerd at the time. Hey, man, sometimes that just happens, you know? My first crush was a pale, freckled redhead as well. So... there's just something about it, man. God, we are stupid, aren't we? We gotta keep that moon tan alive. Moon-kissed skin that nary the sun has laid its harsh beams upon. Yeah, the visitation of purity. A protected angel. Amy Pond from Doctor Who. Yeah. They may be demure in every possible way, but they got a temper. But it's always a cute one, you know? Okay, quickly she trapped the strange device in a specimen jar. It rattled ominously and buzzed angrily against the glass cage in which it found itself. The vigilant owner, ever mindful of the precarious nature of his business, had rushed over at Sally's call. His hands trembled as he took the vial from Sally. Okay, hold on a minute. Now we got a new character. And also, we gotta change the stage here a second. I'll try to type in cyber greenhouse. I don't know how much that's gonna work, but okay. Get out of here, Josh. I didn't delete Sally, did I? Oh shoot, maybe I did. Okay. No problem. Just gotta find Sally again. Presuming that image comes up again. Damn it, Sally, where are you? Sally 3. Sally 3, come back! There's 2. Oh, wait, this is the same... I think this is the same Sally. Somehow in an even less dignified pose. I mean, that works for me. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay. My bad. Sally's back. Actually, let's... No, we can keep the 1, 2, 3 RF, that's fine. Okay, so there's Sally. Let's see. Okay, we got a new character, Phil. Okay, I'm getting used to this writing. There's always a character dump shortly after. So here's the character description. Phil Talley, the owner of Phil O'Dendron's nursery, was a diminutive man, smaller even than Sally, with a slight build and a passive face defined by rectangular wire-rimmed glasses. Sally had come to love him for his patient, tender way with the bulbs and shoots that didn't respond. Wait. Sally had come to love him for his patient, tender way with the bulbs and shoots that responded to his touch and care. As far as she knew, Phil didn't have an enemy in the world. One of the big corporations must have planted this bug in their nursery. Okay. So Phil is a non-combatant in this story in every possible way. Let's decide on a voice for old Phil. His only line so far is, "Are we infested?" I don't know that he's gonna have many more lines than that, if I'm being honest. But let's work through this anyway. Let's see here. Let's pull up some good options for old Phil here. All right. There's one. There's two. And I'll go with three. All right. Yeah, one has a flower in his hair. That's kind of a giveaway, right? But let's see here. Let's see if I can come up with voices for these gentlemen. Give him some kind of southern accent, because why not? Sure. Okay, one will be like, I mean, there's different kinds of southern. I'll go with like Colonel Sanders kind of thing. Are we infested? No, so it should be a little higher and softer. Are we infested? That'll be hold on a second. What is his name again? It's such a non-character. Phil. All right. Are we infested? That's Phil 1 there. Are we infested? This gentleman, hold on a minute, let me yank it above. Phil 2. Let's see. Are we no, it's too high. Are we infested? Just without the accent, I think. Still soft and high. Like kinda creepy sounding almost. Are we infested? Phil 1. Are we infested? Phil 2. Deeper? Yeah? For him? You think? Okay. Are we infested? Are we infested? Yeah, something like that. But it's still got to be soft. Completely like just completely like in the eyes of the author, just like asexual. And then this gentleman, deep and breathy. All right, we'll go deep and breathy for Phil 3. Is there a keyboard command to move layers up or down? I don't remember. All right. Phil 3. Are we infested? I can't stop doing this accent. Are we infested? Yeah, Phil 3 is just kind of like high on opium all the time. All right. Phil 3 looks kind of crazy. A little bit. Oh, nailed it with 3? Okay, all right. Well, let's throw up the old poll here. Okay, Phil 1. Are we infested? Really high and airy. Phil 2, high, hopefully without the accent. Are we infested? Phil 3, deep and breathy. Are we infested? Nearly identical cadence and rhythm to all of those, but I really don't think Phil's going to be around or say much. So I'm not going ham on trying to make his voice that interesting. Oh, Phil 3 with the runaway right now. My Adobe Care case has been closed. Turns out the secret was turning off hardware acceleration to make it functional. I'm still annoyed. I have a $3 million PC, and it, Premiere does this thing where it exclusively uses QuickSync instead of NVIDIA hardware. Aha! Phil 3 has taken it. Alright. Thank you all for contributing. Get out of here, Phil. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's try this again. Get out of here, Phil. Get out of here, Phil. True Phil has entered the chat. Wait, really? Oh, that's cool. Okay, I didn't know you could do that. Very handy. Alright. Let's, just for the sake of being clean. There. Alright. So, Sally, who is a wonder kid with plants, has detected a miniature bug on a plant. And Phil, good old Phil. Shift control bracket brings things to the top layer. Okay. Alright, that's useful, thank you. This cologne is 11 herbs and spices, exactly. And a little dab of chicken grease behind each ear. Alright. The vigilant owner, ever mindful of the precarious nature of his business, had rushed over at Sally's call. His hands trembled as he took the vial from Sally. "Are we infested?" he whispered in horror. A plague of mites would wipe him out for this season. The next shipment from the Far East wouldn't arrive for months. "I don't know, Phil. It's not real. What does it mean?" She watched him turn over the jar in his shaky hands. Phil Talley, the owner of Phil O'Dendron's nursery, was a diminutive man, smaller even than Sally, with a slight build and a passive face defined by rectangular wire-rimmed glasses. Almost got the glasses. They're just not rectangular. You can add glasses? Never mind. Yeah. The picture's just a little bit off. Sally had come to love him for his patient, tender way with the bulbs and such a care. As far as she knew, Phil didn't have an enemy in the world. One of the big corporations must have planted this bug in their nursery. They were the only ones with the money for such sophisticated devices. Orchids were highly coveted among certain Arasaka executives, but kidnapping for ransom and outright theft were the usual methods employed by flower robbers. Why would they deliberately set out to destroy his crop? "Call the police," he told Sally, though he didn't really want to involve authorities. They'd come trooping in here with pesticides and quarantine orders, slap a big orange clothes sticker on his store window, and confiscate the whole lot. He'd probably go under. "No, wait, Phil. Let's talk about this." Sally knew as well as Phil what to expect as the result of a police visit. This nursery was her life. She wasn't going to let him throw it all away because someone was trying to intimidate them. The poor man was smoking a cabbage leaf cigarette as he did when he was distraught. Bring that down a little bit. He was distraught. Flecks of ash clung to his clothes, another mark of his agitation, for he was habitually neat, and even his gardener's khaki pants and work shirt were crisply pressed. "My boyfriend would know what to do about this, only..." "What?" "I left him, Phil. I'm kinda mad at him. He won't grow up. He spends all his time on the net, which is why he'd know how to handle a micro device like this bug. There's gotta be some way to deactivate them all at once. I'll call him if you like," she said doubtfully, but Phil could see that she really didn't want to do it. "That's okay." Wait, hold on. "That's okay, girl." Wait, breathy and low. Shit, I think I've already lost Phil's voice. "That's okay, That's okay, girl. You don't have to go back to him over this. You give me an idea, though. I know what these machines hate that flowers like. Come on, we'll turn on the misters and drown the little doohickeys or rust them shut." Good God. Sent you a clip of the voice. I am kind of okay with stumbling my way through it, if that makes sense. I'm actually not aiming for consistency right now, which would probably be a skill I need to develop if I wanted to try to be a professional voice actor, but I'm not. I'm just dicking around, so I'm kind of okay with it morphing because I kind of want to see where it ends up. kind of part of the process for me. I appreciate that, though. I do. It's worth a try, Sally responded. They sealed the orchid room and turned up the heat until it was just below the temperature that would kill the exquisitely delicate buds. Then they doused the space with a fine spray of mist until the glass fogged over and every leaf was dripping with moisture. But when they re-entered the room, the tiny bugs were still crawling over everything, chomping their way up the shiny lower leaves on the stalk toward the vulnerable efflorescences. That's one word. Efflorescences. I feel like he also forgot his own voice. Phil's had a hard life. That's why he likes the plants now. We're going at this all wrong, said Sally. Her red hair was limp from the effects of the heat and high humidity. And her pale skin was shiny. We use the water and the heat like these were living things, but they're machines. What does in machines? You gotta cut their power. I got another idea. She left the nursery and ran to the office, where she grabbed the bulk eraser they used to wipe clean the holotapes they sent with each order that described how to tend the flowers, a special service of the philodendron's nursery. She raced back to the nursery, plugged in the highly magnetized eraser, and ran it over the jar holding the one captive bug. It fell from the side of the glass onto its back on the bottom of the container and lay still. So hold on a minute. I like Phil's changing voice. It sounds like someone that's trying to sound normal while they're tripping. That is perfect. All right, so 1 second. We gotta visualize this, otherwise people aren't gonna know what's going on. Okay, there was a robo-bug. 1 second. She hit it with a magnet. Well, let's just... Oh wait, that didn't work at all. Whatever. How about this? Oh. Alright, whatever. It's dead now. There. Now you know. Phil is the Dragon Ball Z abridged Mr. Popo. Oh, geez. Nowhere near that disturbing. Okay, so she killed the bug with a magnet. That's it, she cried, and ran from plant to plant, disabling the bugs which couldn't handle the disorienting effects of the highly potent magnetism. Way to go, gal, Phil shouted. That's like almost like Tim Curry levels of savory. Hey, Man Mountain, welcome. You're all angry and sweaty from ranked Tekken? Dude, nice. I didn't know you were a Tekken man. I appreciate that. I respect that. Titan, thank you for the resub. It is over 3 years. I appreciate that. No hit ranked Tekken stream? Blah. The second I get hit, I'm deleting my channel. It's only been 3 lines. Yeah, there probably won't be that many, and it's moving places. I do like the idea of Phil being like, well, I got ideas about where his stupid voice can go. Way to go, Phil shouted. He was vastly relieved that his crop was saved. In a few minutes, Sally had enfeebled all the encroaching machine insects and swept them up to a hard plastic pail. There were several hundred of them, and though they couldn't reproduce like living creatures, in those numbers they would have been plentiful enough to consume the orchid crop entirely. 2 questions remained. Who had placed these voracious intruders into the hothouse, and why? The dreadful thought flitted across her mind that Joshua could have programmed these micro-pests, but she dismissed the idea immediately. He wasn't like that, and anyway, he was too preoccupied with his own roamings in the net to bother with an elaborate revenge scheme. No, it had to be somebody with something to gain from Phil's loss. A competitor, maybe. Later on, she'd take these awful things to the landfill to see that they were buried beneath the thousand tons of garbage that generated by day. Oh my god. See that they were buried beneath the 1,000 tons of garbage generated that day by the citizens of Night City. They are in Night City, okay. They had like hinted about it, but never quite said it until now. And thus ends chapter 2. I think we'll do one more chapter. Let's see how long this next chapter is. Surely we're capping out for the number of characters this narrative will introduce to us. No, actually, the next chapter is quite long. Yeah, it's actually really, really long. I think I'll save that for next time. The next chapter is longer than the book we've read so far, so it would take quite a bit to get through it. Shockingly, Sally's chapter was about 2 pages long, and I think we're back to Joshua now. No. Oh, okay, I guess it goes into Joshua's friends. Joey Jet and Freaky Freddy. I hope. Oh, they say Choomba! Sick! I can't wait. The cyberpunk slang is the thing I was looking forward to the most. Yeah, man. This is a reading stream. We're reading through Cyberpunk 2020 Holo Men and having chat vote on the characters and the voices that I am very rickettedly holding up. But yeah, Joey Jet's a real one for sure. He's always been around. Okay, I think that'll do it for the Let's Read for this week. Let me need a chapter 3. I'll remember. That's fun though. I like the visualization part of it. And Sally's still in the narrative, so that's good. She'll have to come crawling back one way or the other. And now the decision of what to do next. I do have access to Flight Sim, and Microsoft sent me a ton of gear, but I kind of am afraid to set it all up, especially after the weird day that I've had with tech. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. So I think I just might pick up my Doom run again. I was on level 3, so I think I'll do that. Just play Doom until this evening. Fight me in Duel Links. I don't have Duel Links installed. Yeah, I'm gonna need a day for sure. The game's not out yet. I have early access, so I'm just scared. I'm scared. And then what I've been doing lately with MediaTek is something like this, where I like play a game and then the video is an overlay. So I'm not. I might experiment with that a little bit tonight. We'll see. Yeah, it's a lot, Trey. I'm very, very lucky to have it. It's like they gave me like a yoke, a rudder, and a throttle. It's ridiculous. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm kind of in a weird way obligated to like tweet about it. I got to make some. Yeah, no, they hooked me up for real. So I got to do something, right? I actually had a plan to make it like a photo set for social media, but Stephanie is gone today. She's getting a tattoo, and I needed her to be my my camera lady. What kind of influencer would I be if I didn't make my significant other take photos for me? Do you have a flight helmet? No, but I did order some stupid props. So I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna eat some stuff. My stomach's pretty empty right now. Yeah, it's already 6. Holy crap! All I've had today is. What did I have? I had some like leftover pizza, protein powder, and then some like spring rolls, and that was it. Played for a few hours to get used to it. Yeah, Alex, that seems like a game that if I just bombed right in on Twitch, I'd look like an idiot, and it would take me an hour to get a plane off the ground. Yeah, and maybe add separate controls cam. Yeah, I was gonna add a little webcam showing the whole setup. It's only fitting, given how much free junk they just threw at me. Good old Microsoft, thank you. Even though they're not sponsoring this part of it. This was actually sent in by a viewer, which is really cool, and I appreciate that. Okay, yes, Doom Eternal coming up, but you're sorry, your internet's not doing good. Also buy G Fuel, TM. All right, quick break, and I'll be back shortly with Doom Eternal, and hopefully that'll go well. All right, see you guys soon.